What's up, YouTubers? Welcome back to the channel. Are you sick of having so many radios that you don't know which one is which, or they're just causing too much clutter? Time to convert them all to one radio. There's one radio in particular that I think is the best bang for your buck, and it works well for me, and that's the Spektrum DX6C. Let me show you. So the Spektrum DX6C is the radio that I use, and I really like it. It's a good value when you can get it for about 150 bucks with receiver. I'll put a link in the description of my Amazon affiliate link, and if you want to buy it, go ahead and use that link. It'll help me out. It doesn't cost you any extra. I've spent quite a bit of time using separate radios for separate trucks, and that's what a lot of people do because most ready-to-run trucks come with its own radio and receiver. The problem is that over time, as you know, you start to accumulate more trucks. It's an easy hobby to get addicted to, as many of you know, and before long you have this huge pile of radios. So this was so much more streamlined to convert to one radio. I'm going to go through some likes and dislikes of this radio, and then you can decide if it's the one for you. Alright, so here it is. And just to say, I'm by no means an expert on these radios, but I do have some pros and cons of it. There's some things that bug me about it, and there's some things I really like. So just figured I would share that with you. It's also worth noting that people refer to them as controllers, radios, remotes, but for the purposes of this video, let's just call it a radio. So I would say this radio falls in about the mid-range. They can get pretty expensive when you go to the higher end models, and whether it's Spektrum or a different brand. But for me, this is a perfect basher radio. I think it's the best bang for your buck. So let me just go over some of the features of it, and then I'll go over the likes and dislikes. This is a 6-channel radio, and it has up to 20 models that you can load into this. So if you've got 20 different trucks, they can all be controlled by this radio. It takes 4 AA batteries right in the bottom here. They're smart telemetry compatible. It's able to run AVC on this and the receiver, and if you don't know what that is, it's active vehicle control, where when you're in the air the tires can turn to adjust automatically so you don't crash as easily. I don't use that. I turn it off on all my trucks because I feel old school with that, and I don't want anything interfering with how I'm driving it, but that is possible with the receiver that it comes with. So it comes with this 3-channel receiver that I told you about. However, it's a 6-channel radio and a 3-channel receiver, so that kind of defeats the purpose a little bit. But for me, it works fine. If you want to upgrade the receiver, you'd have to buy that separately. It's got a lot of options to adjust on the truck. So let me just turn it on and show you some of the things that I like and dislike about it. So one of the likes is the ability to just easily go through my models and pick it. So as you can see, I've got 10 different models loaded up on here, and it's just easy to switch back and forth and grab which truck I need, turn it on, and away you go. So much less trouble than going and grabbing different radios. It also allows you to save the different settings that you have throughout each truck, so that when you switch trucks, you can, let's say you want to grab the Typhon here, then all my settings are already saved on there that I wanted: steering, brake, and etc. One benefit is it's really easy to pair this with the trucks. Another perk is if you're an Arrma fan like me and you have a lot of Arrma trucks, then Spektrum is going to be the receiver that you likely have in them. And for that reason, this is a good radio to have, because you're frequently able to link it with those trucks. As long as they have a Spektrum receiver, this radio will work just fine. So that's an advantage there, and I happen to have almost all Spektrum receivers in my trucks, so it made it so much easier. If you have to buy a Spektrum receiver, you can get them for pretty cheap. So I just go with the cheapo ones most of the time, and that works just fine. I also like that this is backlit, so if it's at night or even if it's on a really sunny day and it's hard to see, this helps a little bit so you can see the what you need a little easier. And lastly, I just like how it feels in my hand. It's pretty ergonomic, easy to spin this wheel. It's got kind of like a soft foam wheel here, and yeah, I just like how it feels. So it's not too heavy, not too light. So now for the things I dislike about it. One is that this power button sticks, and I've seen it written about, and I've experienced it myself, unfortunately, where this power button will get stuck on, and at one point I didn't realize it was on. I thought I turned it off. It's not built well. As you can see, it's very thin on there, and you can hardly tell it's depressed, but somehow it gets stuck like that. So what happened to me is it got stuck on, and apparently when the batteries run out while the thing is on, it can totally send it into a glitch that is unrecoverable. So I'll show you what I mean. So this is actually the old radio that I had that broke, and I got it replaced through Spektrum. So luckily they were cool about replacing it, but as you can see, this is what it looks like. It says input test, and it's got some numbers and letters, and I cannot get it out of this screen. So I tried all these different options, every button combination I could think of, and unfortunately it was sort of frozen in this boot menu. So because of that, they replaced it, which was nice, but now this thing's nothing but a paperweight. If anyone knows how to fix that, then let me know, and I'd have 2 radios. But until then, I'm just worried about this power button being stuck on. So just watch that. If you have it, make sure you maybe spray it out with air, or just make sure it's clean. For the next model, they should definitely try updating that. Another thing I don't really like is this wheel. It is actually how you press enter by scrolling through this wheel and then pressing it. But a lot of times, because it's a wheel, when I go to press down, it accidentally moves the wheel up or down. So I wish they had like an enter button that was separate from the wheel, or maybe the wheel was a little harder to turn, because it can be annoying when I've got it picked and then I click it and I accidentally move the wheel up and it clicks a different button. Related to buttons, there's also another annoying feature, which is it's not very intuitive as to which buttons are which. Throttle trim is located there, steering trim is located there. You would think brakes might be located there. Nope, brakes are located here. So that, I don't understand that. But maybe there's a way I can switch that around, but for now that's how they set it up, and so I think it's kind of silly, not intuitive. And lastly, just overall, if anyone switches to a single radio like this for all your trucks, the downside I see is that when you have a friend over or someone else in your family wants to drive the trucks, well, then you've got to link your old radio back to it, because this is a one-person operation here with this thing. But it's easy enough to just link it. And so, as I said earlier, if you're looking to pair this with another remote, it's pretty easy as well, so it wouldn't take too much trouble. But that's a general downside I'd see to doing this with any single radio. So I'm not going to get too much more into the technical specs of this, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was a good intro dive into the DX6C by Spektrum, and just a general purpose recommendation on converting all those messy radios to one. So thanks for watching. Until next time.